I think if we all tried hard enough, we could get Jesse Singal to redact himself, but that's just me. Me and my friends would beat Jesse Singal to death with hammers, I can tell you that. Jesus Christ. Dude, some of these are just... Right. Very I tell you what really strikes me with this image is just how feminine it all is. Yeah, I've got a massive big girl. Do you want to see it? Do you want to suck it? I'll put it down your throat and you'll choke on it. Gender critical by the day. But in the lead up to that, I don't know if you've seen this, but you know Jesse Singal, right? So Jesse Singal is this guy who talks about like he's made a lot of content talking about healthcare, but trans healthcare for minors, right? So he's made a lot of coverage about it, he's spoken about it a lot. And for the crime of, I think, fairly and reasonably reporting on and talking about this issue, he has been painted as this like virulent transphobe who despises trans people and, you know, thinks that kids that express gender incongruence issues should top themselves. Yeah, that, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like, he is like hated. And people like Emma Vigiland from Majority Report have like heavily criticized this guy. And if you actually look and read what he's talking about, and I don't know if everything he's ever done or said is perfect by any means, but he's not saying anything that crazy. He's saying things which are now being backed up by some of this information that is coming out that, hey, some of these ideas of treatment that you've got are not good, and they're not well researched, and they're not backed up by good evidence, and we're just doing it and acting like it's all settled science, and it's not, you know? So anyway, there's a whole thing apparently happening where on BlueSky, he's like set up an account there, and it's become this big drama, and everyone like hates him over there, because it's like super woke, super pro-trans, and so on and so on and so on, right? So let's have a look. He's provided some examples here. So this BlueSky is obviously the alternative to Twitter now, and it's presented as this like wonderful place, you know? Oh, BlueSky is really good. You know, it's a lot more friendly. It's a lot happier over there. It's not like Twitter where it's really toxic and vicious. It's really nice over there. Okay? And this is what we're seeing over there in response to this dude. Wait, what? They doxed his address. Really? Yeah, he's the top blocked account over there. He's the top blocked account. By some margin as well. So he's blocked by 76,000 accounts. Followed by, oh, Brianna Wu, eh? Brianna Wu's up there too. 56,000 accounts. 56,760. And he's ahead by just under 20,000. Bro, like, if you actually read what he says, it's nothing that crazy. He literally just criticizes and talks about and breaks apart some of the discourse around, you know, this treatment for trans kids, as they call them. You know? And he just says some of this stuff's fucking baloney and full of shit, and people overstate it and say wrong things about it. Okay. There's a culture of just total impunity over there when it comes to violence. On Twitter, as far as I can tell, it's rare for people to post violent threats or musings under names identified with IRL identities. Over there, they know that they can do so without any risk. Honestly, banning Jesse Singal would probably be in his best interest too. The more he keeps tormenting people, the more likely it is that one of them will snap and end his life. This is deranged. He is safest when we don't have to think about him. The way this guy gets treated is fucking nuts, dude. I challenge anyone to read his work and find genuine, significant issue with what he's actually saying. I mean, you can disagree with it. You can not like it. You can have a different perspective. But to the point where you're like musing about someone ending his life, that's fucking nuts, bro. All the death threats are couched in the idea that I pose an imminent threat to the community. That's the line. I'm putting the users there at risk. No one can explain how. NBC is at work on an article with that angle, based on requests for comment they sent to me. I don't think BlueSky should ban Jesse Singal. As a speech platform, it should take a neutral stance towards the expression of views. And my view is, if Jesse was with a hammer, we wouldn't have to see his posts. This is just my opinion. Fucking hell, dude. No, I disagree. I disagree with this take that this is Chad. These people are like the most sensitive freaks going. If you lightly mock a trans person's appearance, they'll freak the fuck out about it, you know? But they'll like, you know, they'll fantasize about beating someone to death with a hammer. And, you know, if you take an issue with that, well, that's just free speech, actually, you know? I mean, in fairness, under the First Amendment, I think this would probably be protected speech. I don't think this could be viewed as an imminent threat to violence or something. So technically speaking, it's like, yeah, sure. But then these people don't really care about free speech. They're just saying that in order to back up what they say, you know? Not ideal for the kinder, gentler Twitter alternatives. I think the people who are threatening to kill Jesse Singal with a gun are crossing a line, but they do make some good points. Like, this is the other point with this too. This is supposed to be, as is being pointed out, this is supposed to be the better Twitter. This is supposed to be pleasant. This is supposed to be nice. And it's just a bunch of total freaks saying insane stuff about shooting someone with a gun for just reporting about on the facts of the matter of this, you know, hot button issue. It's supposed to be like harassment free, you know, all this shit. They bang on about it. And this is the kind of material they're posting over there. And also, the other thing as well is this person is talking about free speech and free expression of views, right? Do you think that they would, like, we're on a platform, we're not talking in the street. You know, this, it could actually potentially be some form of violent speech if it was in real life. But anyway, but that's besides the point. These platforms don't have, like, free speech, right? They do have rules. They do have rules that you've got to follow, you know? And obviously, I don't know who the fuck this person is, but it'd be very interesting to see what these people's perspectives are on some of the rules that exist on X, you know, or don't exist, I should say, you know? I think if we all tried hard enough, we could get Jesse Singal to redact himself, but that's just me. Right, okay. Me and my friends would beat Jesse Singal to death with hammers, I can tell you that. Jesus Christ. I think Jesse Singal should be beat in the streets. I'm a bit worried about saying it. I'm like, shit, that could be a problem for me if I say it. These people are like deranged. These are where all the lefties have gone to post in peace away from the magatards. And this is the kind of material they're putting out. Jesse Singal, get fucked and die. Stupid kiddie fucker piece of shit, trash subhuman bitch. I hope someone breaks every bone in your body. And Jesus Christ. I mean, some of these have got quite low view rates, presumably, and quite low likes. But this is like the stuff that if you posted this on X, that would be, I think, probably flagged. I don't know if you need to flag it, or maybe it'll get picked up by, like, because obviously if you type in certain words, it can pick it up and then deal with moderation action accordingly. What would chat think if people started lurking around Jesse Singal's house? Would it be okay for him to pepper spray one of them rocking up to his door? I see what you're doing there, Stylo. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing there. Jesse Singal has said many times he enjoys getting punched in the face. I'm in no way endorsing or inciting violence. I'm simply asking the question, why not punch Jesse Singal in the face as hard as you can? It's not wrong to ask questions after all. And the thing is too, is like, these people are clearly and obviously fucking seething about this guy. This isn't like a quirky joke. This isn't an edgy, edgelord funny joke. These people genuinely hate this dude. And all he's ever done is just point out the problems with this care model, this affirming care model for kids, for the trans stuff, you know? They like genuinely despise the guy. And it's like, what has he actually done wrong? Guys like Singal have made a career off this tactic, and for some reason, the blood of dead trans kids on his hands isn't seen as murder. This is just utterly deranged shit. Infuriating. Jesse Singal and assorted grifters want us dead, so I similarly want him dead. This place was built at large part. This place was built in large part by a wave of trans early adopters, and it's a fucking insult that the mods here are letting a deliberate troll like Singal set up shop here to bully and harass them. Dude. Okay, who's got his BlueSky account? I want to see all this bullying and harassment that he's done of trans people on BlueSky. What can anyone link it? I want to see what this bullying and harassment is. This isn't a hard call, guys. Not at all. 5.5k likes. What is his output on BlueSky? Where's the bullying and harassment happening? Oh, I need to sign in to view it. Fuck, I can't view it then. Okay, I don't have an account on there. Oh, should I sign up? Oh, I've got a fucking... I can't be fucked. I've got to type in a bunch of shit. I can't just automatically sign in. Weddle is on there too. Hey, Weddle, how's your father? Is he free yet? Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. Come on. I'm assuming it's just his normal shtick, right? You know, you could probably get a good guide off of his Twitter account in terms of the kind of shit he posts. I mean, I could probably just scroll through it. I doubt only if it's TOS. You know, he's kind of like a lib. He's like a lib who's got very, you know, he's quite critical of the trans kid stuff, you know? And he obviously posts lib shit about politics too. But it's not really, you know, without scrolling through more, I can assure you, having looked at his work and read through his stuff, you know, it's not anything that egregious. I mean, in fact, we could probably have a quick look at his Substack. I've been meaning to read one of these articles, but I haven't gotten around to it. But do you remember where, what was it? It was the Alec Gunter thing. Alec Gunter was proposing that there was like, you know, some sort of debunking that happened of the Cass review. And Jesse Singal wrote an article about it and was basically saying the debunking is overstated or something, right? But anyway, the point is, if you look at his work, it's all just like look. Did I publish the private medical records of transgender children? Another like dishonest piece of shit that people represent about him. Read my story about a major detransition lawsuit in The Economist. You know, some of this is normal politics shit. Donald Trump stuff. Trump derangement. I'm sure throwing JK Rowling in jail over her tweets will calm everything down. Yeah, this is the one. Yale's Integrity Project is spreading misinformation about the Cass review and youth gender medicine. You know. Like, there's nothing here that deserves this level of vitriol. Like, he's not posting anything that is crazy egregious. It's just, this stuff doesn't have good evidence, and here's some of the issues that are arising as a result of this stuff being pushed. You know? Like, he's not even, like, aggressive or anything. He just is talking about and laying out, you know, his perception of his analysis of the facts of the situation, you know? Sounds painful, not painful enough. Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, so then we've got apparently the NBC reporter was going to interview him about it. As it's wrapping up Friday, I got this email from an NBC reporter. The reporter was very concerned that I responded trollishly to death and assault and torture threats. That was the story NBC saw in all this. Piece is now dropping today or tomorrow, I'm told. My name is Redacted from NBC News. I'm working on a piece about BlueSky's changing culture as the site grows post-election, and I plan to include some reporting about the controversy around you joining the platform. In the past week or so, you've written, I want to colonize BlueSky with normal people, characterize the site population as batshit insane, and incentivize your followers to join BlueSky by offering a free 3-month subscription to your newsletter. Think of how mad it will make some of the worst people on the internet, you wrote. You've dedicated many posts to reposting and screenshotting and sharing responses to you from people on BlueSky for your followers to engage with. I first started working on this piece before you joined BlueSky, and it includes that the platform was originally settled by a lot of trans users. Dude. A lot of trans... Dude, you don't want to upset the trans. You don't want to upset the trans, do you? What a disaster that would be. Bro, it's not a public platform that people can join.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Literally just setting up a fucking hug box.
Money off depressed people.
Chud, they are reopening the St. Floyd case for reasons that was covered in the documentary you said was full of shit. Great UK Chud in it. 10/10ths intellectual.
Well, I didn't say it was full of shit necessarily. I was just deeply concerned with the lack of any sort of integrity of interviewing the people that mattered. You know, putting the thumbscrews on some retarded libtard guy, but then the chief of the police union not really asking any pressing questions about it. But yeah, is there a link to that story? They're reopening the Floyd case. Isn't it not just a part of his normal appeal process? I would have thought. I can't imagine they're reopening it. Surely it would be a response to an appeal. Anyway, thank you for the 333. And it includes the platform which we set up a lot of trans users. Consider it a safe haven from the very openly anti-trans environment that X has become under Elon Musk. Trans and other marginalized users pioneered a lot of the safety features that BlueSky's culture now relies on. As BlueSky has gained traction post-election, a lot of X accounts have migrated over to post anti-trans rhetoric and harass trans users. Bro, the press in America is just... The libtard press is like insane. You know? It's absurd. Like, this is the line of narrative that you're going with. This is a serious journalistic inquiry. And it's all about how bad the trans have got it. Like, what has this guy done? What has this guy done to justify the posting of themselves? Which, hey, listen, you can make an argument he should ignore them, etc., whatever, fine. You know, reposting them and he elicits more of it. Sure, we could talk about that, right? But, like, you as a reporter are looking at this, and your first thought process here is, you know, oh, what about the trans that are escaping from X? What is it that he's posted that's so egregious that a trans person can't look at? You're a widely scrutinised figure on BlueSky and beyond, as evidenced by the GLAD Accountability Project's description of your work. GLAD? GLAD? You mean this GLAD? The GLAD that was pumping this fucking utter cretinous propaganda out into the world. You mean this one? Remember this one? Is it the same GLAD that we're talking about? The totally captured organisation that just spits out insane lies in regards to trans stuff. Every major medical association supports healthcare for trans youth. The science is settled. Is it this organisation that we're talking about? I don't know, bro. Doesn't seem particularly trustworthy to me. No, it's not true. This is a lie. This is a total lie. The usage of puberty blockers for youths that are expressing gender incongruence is not settled science. It was never settled science. It is like the literal cutting edge of research, right? Because puberty blockers in their normal usage are for children that have got precocious puberty, i.e. they're going through puberty earlier than they should, right? So their body is not functioning correctly, okay? So they're treated with this in order to stop that from happening so they don't receive negative consequences from going through puberty earlier, right? That's what it's meant for. That's what it's designed for. Whereas when it comes to gender incongruence, right, it's being given to a child whose body is functioning normally, as it should, in terms of their experiencing these hormones coming through at the time that is appropriate and normal for a human being to go through. So you're inhibiting the correct function of a human body. And there's nothing wrong with doing that in and of itself, but it's not enough that it doesn't cause harm, and that is up for fucking debate. Where, you know, there's lots of, you know, things to look at there, but there are strong arguments that it does cause harm. But even then, you need to be able to demonstrate like a positive, benefit of doing that, right? It's like a child has got cancer. You give them chemotherapy or whatever you give them, right? That's going to hurt them, but then it's going to help to cure the cancer, say. So you do it for that reason. And that just isn't evidence. There's not evidence. Despite what all the trans activists have said, despite all the stuff that's been pushed about this, right? And this is the fundamental thing of what's happening in some places in Europe. There is just not good evidence that it's beneficial. There's not good evidence that it helps to overcome, the potential risks that are at play. So this idea that it's settled science is fucking bullshit. It doesn't say puberty blockers. Well, what do you think they mean by this? What do you think this is in reference to? Healthcare for trans youth. The science is settled. Every major medical organization, again, just complete bullshit. To say the science is settled is like an obscene lie. It's an obscene lie, that only serves to like stifle the conversation about this. It's a lie. They're just lying. They've lied. They've lied about this. Progressives have lied about this issue repeatedly for years. It's a totally invalid statement. So anyway, the point is, this GLAAD fucking organization, I don't know much about them, but I don't really trust them when it comes to these trans issues, to be honest with you. As evidenced by the GLAAD Accountability Project's description of your work, you becoming the most blocked person on BlueSky within days. And the petition that has almost 20,000 signatures asking BlueSky to enforce its community guidelines against you. BlueSky responded today, indicating they will not be taking action on your account. We're hoping to run this article sometime this weekend at the earliest. Please let me know if you have any comment you'd like to provide on any of this besides what you've shared publicly. This is like top tier crybully shit, isn't it? What the fuck has this guy done wrong? Bro, every single day that I look at this stuff and talk about this stuff, I just become more and more like... I become more and more gender critical radicalized, I fear, Like, Jesse Singal is about as middle of the road as you're going to get as someone criticizing this stuff. And even that is too much for these people to bear, I understand someone like Graham Linehan, right? Or someone that is very provocative and very aggressive in their discourse about this stuff, right? I get not liking them. I get some people are rude. I get some people are vicious and whatever. I get not liking them. But this guy is like, in terms of criticizing this stuff, totally middle of the road. Happy to use the correct pronouns. Happy to be reasonable and meet at the table and talk about this stuff. And he just gets completely sidelined and berated. And people are like talking about wanting him to die. It just makes me feel like these people don't want a conversation about it. They don't want discourse about it. It's like agree or die. It is like agree or die, Take my name out of your mouth so my dick will fit in there. Okay, dude. Fucking hell. NBC story about how I pose a threat to the BlueSky users. Attempted to dox me and posted lurid death threats about me. Appears to be dead, though I guess we'll see. Also, I just want to point out as well, right? These people are obviously deranged. Jesse Singal is better off ignoring them, broadly. However, I think the fact that BlueSky is trying to present itself as this, like, wonderful place that's the nice version of Twitter and it's not hateful and stuff like that, I think it's totally reasonable to point out these examples and be like, hang on a sec. You're supposed to be the nicer version of Twitter. What's all these fucking, death comments and rape comments about? Where's Jake Weddle? Jake Weddle left X because people were posting rape Jake Weddle. I wonder what he thinks about all of this. I mean, this is like way worse. They're literally fantasizing about his death. It's insane. Hi, Jesse. I'm CCing my colleague in who's working on a piece with a wide variety of tech and safety growing pains at BlueSky. That plans to include details about the controversy around you and the platform. We've decided that we're going to address your situation in that piece, which you'll be taking the lead on. I've shared the materials you sent me with him, and he will take over reporting for this project. We don't have a specific date yet, but I plan to publish it within the next 2 weeks. NBC story about I pose a threat to the BlueSky users. Attempting to dox me and posting lyrical appears to be dead. Though I guess we'll see. Okay. Is it supposed to be nice? Yes, explicitly. I've seen plenty of posts of people on BlueSky shared on Twitter talking about how nice it is and how friendly it is and how it's not a place for hate and everyone's nice to each other over there. Right? Yes, I've seen posts about this. So yeah, I think it is that thing, to be honest with you. And yeah, this is the thing I wanted to talk about as well. Okay. I actually saw Mary Chu talking about this, okay? So yes, this is influenced by Mary Chu, okay? A trans woman, right? Let's not be silly about it. Let's not get into the the unnecessary jokes, all right? But this is like insane, okay? And obviously, dude, some of these are just... right. Very I tell you what really strikes me with this image is just how feminine it all is, you know? Just endless femininity radiating out of the image. It's pretty like, whoa. Very woman-like behavior, isn't it? The look, the threat to violence, the presenting yourself as an imminent violent threat to people you disagree with. I think that is a very traditional behavior that a woman would engage in, personally. I think a lot of women do that sort of thing. TERFs can choke on my girl dick. Okay, I mean, some of these haven't got many likes, so there's that aspect, I guess. But, like, there are people that have this sentiment, that they do genuinely fantasize and think about the rape and murder of TERFs because they disagree politically. It's fucking insane. Okay. TERF is a slur. Would you kindly suck on my womanly dick? Preferably choke on it. Hey TERFs, suck my fucking T-slur dick. Okay. Dude, really I want to see the images of the trans individuals. That's the best part of this, I'd say. Armed trans woman. I mean, some of these are quite old as well. But then I think it speaks to a culture. It speaks to a behavior. And I do think there has been this kind of like aggressive backlash. This T-slur kills TERFs. Fucking hell, dude. Jesus Christ, bro. What is this? I'm coming for your throats, TERFs. So, I get the argument here that like maybe some of these are older tweets or they're not well liked and stuff like that. But I think it would be delusional to pretend like there isn't a, extremely violent undertone that has underpinned a lot of this stuff, And, whilst I think that there could always be this kind of behavior and material from both sides, there is just like a seemingly excessive level of violent imagery that comes from this side of it. Or it's like, it's like violent imagery talking about wanting to murder, slaughter, and rape TERFs, and then you look at the other side, and it's like you're a male, right? You are a male. You are not a woman, and you'll never be a woman, right? And obviously, some of that has got a harsh tone. Obviously, it's not pleasant to hear that if you genuinely upset. But it's like the levels are different. I feel like I'm coming around to the idea that there is a lot of violent rhetoric and imagery that tends to come from this side more.
Off depressed people.
The truth hurts. Anyway, here's a selfie of me that screams, "Fuck Nazis, fuck TERFs, both belong in the dirt." Fucking hell, dude. So anyway, there's lots of examples of these, Obviously, you do need to bear in mind these are spread over a course of years, right? To be fair, you know, these aren't necessarily... Wait, what is this one? Seeing a lot of trans misogyny and violence against trans ladies on my dash tonight. Man after my own heart. Hey, beautiful trans woman, get you and your lovely gocks behind me. I'll protect you, okay? Come into my room, I'll protect you from all the nasty transphobia. Everybody best stop hurting my friends, or I'll take some direct action to you, first by educating you with my words, and if that doesn't work, I have other means. Fucking hell, dude. Just finishing up my installation. Die, cis scum. I punched her. Your apathy is killing us. Jesus Christ. It's okay to be a woman with a big-ass guns and an even bigger dick. So this is like extremely male-coded behavior to me. This kind of like weirdo obsession with talking publicly about your genitalia. This isn't something that women tend to do, right? Women don't generally conceptualize themselves as like you know, they don't talk about themselves like this. You know, it seems exclusively like there's some element somewhere of women referring to their own body, but it's quite rare that they're just like, yeah, I've got massive big tits. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like a porn star trope, right? Women generally just don't talk about their bodies in this way. But then you get these like trans people and they're all like, yeah, I've got a massive big girl dick. Do you want to see it? Do you want to suck it? I'll put it down your throat and you'll choke on it. Yeah, I've got a massive cock actually. It's just like bizarre. It's this bizarre like fusion of like male obsession with genitalia and this weird simulacra of presenting as a woman. But that's not how a woman behaves. You know? It's like, yeah, it's like a weird AGP thing, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a massive gawk, actually, and you should suck it. What the fuck? Oh my god, what are these? Point of view, you're a turf in my mentions. Yes, the sword is real. Okay, dude. Point of view, you're a turf in my mentions. Okay, this just seems like some weird kink shit, to be honest. What the fuck is going on there? Anyway, there's obviously like, you know, it goes on and on and on, okay? Now, right. The reason that I wanted to have a quick look at this, and the reason that Mary Chu was looking at this, is there was a video from ContraPoints, and the video was quite critical of JK Rowling, right? But basically Mary Chu was making the argument that it feels like there was a downplaying of what happened with JK Rowling. And I've spoken a bit about this before, right? But I think that JK Rowling has legitimately been driven fucking insane by some of these like hardline pro-trans activists. Because I remember a time when, and this also influenced me to talk about this, I remember a time back in the day, JK Rowling wasn't saying anything that fucking crazy. You know? She was like a pretty standard, like gender critical type person. Just, you know, pushing for like, you know, like a reasonable conversational discourse about the importance of sex and how it's important to distinguish sex in our society, you know? "5 years ago today, and my only regret is that I didn't speak out sooner. To every girl and woman who's paid a heavy price for fighting to retain their rights and boundaries, to every person striving to halt an appalling medical experiment on minors, I salute you, we will win." And then this is from 2019. "Dress however you please. Call yourself whatever you like. Sleep with any consenting adult who'll have you. Live your best life in peace and security. But force women out of their jobs for stating that sex isn't real. I stand with Maya." And this is that Maya Forrester person who, I can't remember what happened with them, so I can't really speak to that. But like, you know, what is wrong with this? What is the problem with this sentiment? You know? Like, this is the start of it for JK Rowling, I think, speaking up on these issues. And I don't really think JK Rowling ever really said anything originally that was that, you know, objectionable. you know, I think that certainly she said things that are rude and harsh and mean at times, right? And some of that is, you know, probably stating things to an excess that could be stated more calmly and more kindly. But also some of that is just the product of, you've got a side here who the expression of one's perception of reality is just deeply upsetting to them. You know, like for them, the statement of "you are a male," which is just a fact, like that is just a reality of the matter. You are a male is considered like this super objectionable transphobia. You know, and I say this as someone who, you know, I am fairly progressive on this stuff. I don't think you should like, you know, I don't think you should be mean to these people. I don't think you should be harsh to them. You know, I think people should, you know, like, do you know what I mean? I'm not like an anti-trans individual, but it just seems to me, the more that I look at this, it just seems crazy. Like the way that the discourse goes on this, that one side gets so upset with, at times, unreasonable and excessive commentary, and at other times just a statement of fact or reality, you know? And I genuinely think that JK Rowling was driven like insane by a lot of this stuff. You know, and this is what I wanted to show, is if you look at this here, it gives you a few examples of this, you know? I mean, it is just insane. The level of like hatred that JK Rowling got. And it was like absurd. It's an absurd level. But considering she initially started out as just having a kind of gender critical perspective, wanting to talk about the importance of sex, you know? JK Rowling is still a, even if she doesn't like being called out about it. Good talk from whoever the fuck this is. Fuck you, JK Rowling. You. I'm back from Twitter jail, and JK Rowling is still a. JK Rowling is a. Get fucked. I no longer like Harry Potter because JK Rowling is a massive transphobic. I don't know what the dates of these are. I wish I could see the dates. JK Rowling's a hag. I mean, just to be clear, I think you should be able to call JK Rowling a as much as you want until the cows come home. You do you, okay? If you really feel that's like a justified insult, I can't complain about you being mean or harsh about someone. But it's like, what is it you're actually upset about? What is it you're mad about? And, you know, it just feels like the criticism of the trans movement is there is this like misogyny at the root of it, right? They call it like it's like a men's rights movement and a male rights movement, and misogyny is at the heart of it. And I think it's difficult to really overcome that when these are the kinds of thought processes that you have in regards to JK Rowling. You know, she's a bitch. You know, thundering. Like, what is this? I'm just going to boldly say that JK Rowling probably hasn't been laid in about a decade. Because honestly, anybody who thinks a label that makes other people feel accepted and safe threatens their femininity in any way clearly needs to get someone to stop whining. Thundering. I mean, this harkens back to the old hysteria argument. Women are hysterical because they've not orgasmed. So stick a fucking dildo up them, right? And then they'll be fucking normal again. All she was saying is sex matters. Yes, sometimes brusquely, sometimes rudely, sure. But this was her fundamental take and her perspective on it, right? It wasn't, you know, it wasn't even that trans people shouldn't be allowed to exist and do what they want to do with their life. It's just that sex matters. It's worthy of distinction. And there's a concern about the you know, erosion of some of these sex-based aspects as trans stuff becomes more prominent, you know? You know, all this like transphobic language, some of which is presumably from these trans people too. But yeah, pretty crazy. And it just, you know, there's a lot of these. There's a lot of these. But yeah. Oh, look, there's even some examples from JK Rowling here too. People who menstruate, I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. And then some sort of cringe. I think this is cringe, obviously. But, you know, obviously joking about the idea that people were, you know, afraid to say woman. Didn't want to say woman when that is like a reasonable description of that, right? JK Rowling is a slag. JK Rowling is back at her bullshit again. Kindly fuck off, you turf. Shut the fuck up, turf. JK Rowling's a whore. Look nice. Jesus. Bro, these people are deranged. What is the worst thing that she said? Like, I'm sat here reading this and I'm thinking, maybe I missed something. Maybe she did say something really fucking egregious. Maybe she did something really fucking bad to justify all this hate. But looking and listening and whatnot with JK Rowling, you know, a lot of it just seems to be pretty standard gender critical stuff. Not sometimes expressed rudely, but not anything that egregious. She also wrote a book where the killer was trans that came out around the time which added to it. I wonder where JK Rowling maybe got the idea from for a violent trans fucking character. I wonder where the inspiration may have come from for the idea that trans people sometimes could be violent fucking individuals. I wonder where she might have got some ideas on that, eh? I don't know, dude. I'm kind of tired of doing but not all trans people are like this. It just feels like a moot point at this stage, really, you know? And speaking from experience and seeing this stuff, like, yeah, I've seen some absolutely insane shit that people have kind of, you know, said and engaged in. Who was that woman? What was her name? Posey Parker? Was that her name? Like, she got assaulted and they were cheering it on. She got like fucking tomato sauce thrown over or something, you know? And people were cheering it on. Literally assaulted in the streets. And people were loving it. The problem is, it's all fucking gay rightoid channels talking about it. You know? Like, I feel like the libtards have largely dropped the ball with this and they've just pivoted super hard. I wonder why. Because, well, I mean, what does it matter? Like, this narrative that it's acceptable to, like, go and chuck stuff over people. I mean, it's absurd. It's utterly absurd and completely unreasonable and obscene. It's like obscene. We cannot exist in a society where it's considered acceptable or justifiable to assault people because you disagree with them, you know? I don't think Chud knows enough about what elicited the outrage to properly hold JK Rowling responsible for people's view of her. Well, tell me then. Show me. What am I missing? What did JK Rowling say that justifies this? That justifies this level of discourse about her? You know? Like what? What has she said? What has she done? You know, I remember a long time ago covering something where she, like, shopped at a store and it had transphobic pins or something. I promoted it or something like that. But you say if you publish media, you get criticism. Okay. I don't know what your fucking problem is, okay? Someone publishes a statement or says something, right? You don't get to assault them for making that statement, okay? This words of violence shit is total cancer. The response is, here's what they've said. You either debate them on it, discuss it with them, okay? Or, you know, you put across your alternative opinion on your own platform. You don't fucking assault them. You never said you could assault them, but it's implied in your statement. What else am I supposed to do? Dude? It's insane. Like, the line should be, do not assault them, you know? I wonder why. The reason that it's only the rightoids that cover this stuff. Okay, I myself do not know the specifics or believe it's all warranted, but I do often hear criticism of what it means to be trans and trans stereotypes from troubled blood. Well, then why the fuck are you trying to tell me? You don't know yourself. I'm saying show me what JK Rowling has said that is so egregious. Like, bro, you're doing the thing where you're just going off what other people have said about it, right? Where is the tweet that JK Rowling has done that is so egregious, that is so transphobic, that is so mean-spirited, that is so harsh, that justifies this kind of response? I don't know, dude. It just seems like there's been an unreasonable response. And bear in mind as well, the problem you're always going to run into is that these gender critical people of course, can be excessive and mean and harsh and rude. And yes. However, at a fundamental level, the things that they say, even professed in a polite tone, are going to be offensive, right? Because you're undermining the idea that they are actually a woman by saying they're male. You're saying you're not, I don't believe you're a woman. I believe a woman is an adult human female. So it's impossible for you to be a woman. You could be a trans woman if they're being nice, or if they're being a bit harsher, maybe they'll say trans identified male. Okay? Okay, what is this one? Okay. Say what you like about gender identity ideology. You can't deny it's attracted some of the world's greatest thinkers. Pregnant men, girl dicks. Pregnant men, girl dicks. An amazing atheist. And then this person's blocked me, but people keep telling me about the banana. I had no need or wish to know about the banana. So JK Rowling knows about amazing atheist shoving a banana up his asshole. That is insane. Bro, the author of Harry Potter knows about the banana. Dude, that is insane, dude. She knows. She knows about the banana. Okay, that was a meme. You know, it's like I don't, you know, I would say, as I always say with this stuff, some of this stuff is best off ignored, okay? Particularly if it's from like shitter accounts and stuff like that. But it's like, it gets to a point with some is like, it's like the balance. It's like, is it really reasonable that she's getting this massive backlash when, from what I've seen and what I've heard, it's mainly just pretty standard gender critical talking points. And, you know, a sort of push for the importance of sex-based stuff in society. But yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, sure. If you're on an everyday crying about it, that's silly. Having a catalogue like this is okay. Yeah, I think cataloguing it is okay. I mean, I hope that Jake Weddle catalogues the Free Nathan Weddle movement, if only because it would be very funny. JK Rowling is right. They're men and they're fetishists, all of them, no exception. Okay. Maybe one day I'll get there. Maybe one day. Not today. Not today. You know, I try and come into this stuff. Like, you know, I rewatched, what was it? That guy, Alf Up a Tree. I rewatched his video about that Sophie from Mars person, you know? And when you listen to them speak, like, when you listen to these people from a very progressive mindset, okay? It's like you're set up to be triggered or bothered by when they do things like, say, he, when their pronouns, according to them, are she. Right? Male. Right? He's a, you know, a sort of fruity gay man or something like that, right? Like, you know, because that's how you're set up. It's set up that is too much to bear and a trans person shouldn't have to listen to that. But when you think of it from their perspective, right? Some of them do it to wind people up, certainly, and they know it gets under their skin. But in this case, you know, this guy is just stating what his perception of reality, his view on reality, which is that, you know, well, you're a male, which I agree with. They are male, right? I don't think you can really get around that. You're male. You say that you're a woman. I don't agree with that analysis. I don't agree with that, right? And I don't think that you could become a woman. But you want to claim that you are definitively a woman without question. And it's permeating into aspects of our society and having a negative impact, you know? They behave in the most provocative way possible to elicit a disgust response. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems like maybe it's, I don't know if it's getting better, if that's the right way of looking at it. But it certainly feels like there's been a lot of steps forward with this, and the kind of height of trans derangement stuff has seemingly died off. I think some stuff like pushing back on some of the, you know, the youth stuff has been good and has kind of moved the needle a bit. As much as I've got criticisms of how X is these days, and there's definitely issues with it, I think stuff like walking back on the misgendering thing was good. All things considered, I think that was a good idea. I just think that gets too close to, you know, I think that gets too close to the compelled speech stuff. You know, obviously not in real life like Jordan Peterson presented it, but certainly, you know, if your perception of someone is that they're a male and you want to refer to them accordingly, I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable, you know. Especially if it's not like directly to them, right? You're just talking about someone. Like if I say, you know, Ellen Page, she, you know, Elliot Page is not going to hear that, right? Elliot Page is not going to hear me say that and go, oh, I feel very transphobed upon. Like they're never going to hear me ever say that unless some crazy situation happens. But it's considered so bad to do. Like what, you're causing them psychic damage. I remember Jordan Peterson was popping off and everyone was getting mad at him about it. And it's like, I don't think Ellen Page is watching. I don't think Elliot Page is watching, you know? But yeah, anyway. Chud said what? Ack. What does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, I still maintain that generally speaking, I go off what someone looks like, you know? But if I was talking to someone, you know, I know people go about the delusion. I wouldn't be unreasonable. I'd be like, you know, respectful in referring to them. But it's just this idea that the misgendering thing, or the dead naming thing. Bro, the dead naming thing was such a fucking scam, bro. Oh, don't say the name they were born with or they might top themselves. I mean, bro, what the fuck, dude? Oh. They all look like men. Stylo's fearful. Stylo's fearful of getting trapped. Dude. Oh. Don't get trapped, mate. Don't get trapped. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a bit because, you know, I love a bit of trans stant. And I saw that Mary Chu was talking about this, and it's a good point, you know. I feel like there is this discourse about JK Rowling, and it's like massively overstated. And in fact, I will challenge anyone that disagrees with what I'm saying here. If you really think I've got the wrong end of the stick and I've got it wrong, and I'm not being, you know, realistic enough, or I'm not being harsh enough, or I'm not being honest enough about what JK Rowling has said, you know, put it in my Discord. Show me what she said that's so egregious and so bad against trans people, you know, and I'll take a look at it on stream and see what I think. But I've got a suspicion that much of this is governed by the trans response to it. You said JK went insane. Yeah. When did she go insane? I don't know. Like, in terms of like focusing on this and talking about this and getting wrapped up in the online world, you know? That's what I'm referring to. Like, I feel like she's been driven insane by all of this stuff happening. But I think in the early days, she was genuinely just interested in the sex distinction and having a kind of gender critical perspective, you know? But I'm saying that I don't know. I mean, obviously, you know, if this is your response to you making reasonable points, you know, responding further with aggression and stuff, it probably isn't the best move, and it probably is bad for yourself to do. But especially as like a big, you know, prominent person. But I could, you know, like if someone is saying "fuck you, transphobe bitch," and then in response to that, JK Rowling is calling this person mean things. I mean, as an example, I would find it difficult to really take issue with that. It's like you were literally asking for it, you know? But I don't even know if that's the case. I guess I just need to see the examples to see, you know? But yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud loves a trans tent wrong end of this stick sus. Very true, Nate. Thank you.